Yo, what's up everybody? Jay Jingles here, and I'm going to be bringing you guys some more Wolfey Draft League content, and I'm just going to dive into a little bit about what my plans are for the regular season and how we're going to cover it, because I've been thinking about it actually pretty hard since the draft, because I knew I wanted to cover it, and it was just like, what would be something that I can do that I feel like I can really offer insight into things, and also like what would be enjoyable for everybody to watch as well. So here's what I've kind of decided, and I think a few of my friends, we kind of discussed it, and this is probably the way to go. So each week, obviously there's 8 teams, there's 4 matches, and I'm going to, because I like building teams, I love building. If you guys have watched this channel at all, I love building, and I love using weird things, and Draft League is right up my alley. So what I'm going to be doing every single week, believe it or not, I'm going to be building all 8 teams according to their opponents and what I think they should do, what I think looks good, things to look out for, and who might have an advantage in a given week, regardless of who the player is, just more so for the matchup. And then, so that'll be one video that I'll do each week. And then basically the first video of the week after all the matches have been posted and I can actually watch them, I'm going to see if they'll let me do it. I'm waiting for one of them to reach out or like actually respond, because I don't want to use it without their permission. So I might just kind of cover it, maybe use like 10-second clips or something, but I would love to just watch the games live and just react to them, and then just kind of see how close these teams were and what was really surprising, and just kind of my takes on it. And yeah, and mostly on the building side, but yeah, so let's dive into it. So as you can see on your screen right now, I've got this fun little dock, and by the way, I noticed in the comments in my last video, a lot of people were wondering, what is that dock? It looks amazing. I wish I could take credit for making this. I did not. It is actually a friend of mine named Ballhawk. It's his screen name, and I ran into him a little while ago, and it's just super chill person. And I asked him for permission to use this in other ways, and he says, yeah, no problem. Just give him, like, obviously I'm going to shout out who he is, and he made it. I am not well enough versed in Excel or Sheets to do anything like this, but this is one of the most impressive docs I've ever seen. So I'm going to include it down just so you guys can use it yourselves. I do have permission to actually release it and everybody can use it. I believe he updates it too as well, like when new generations come out and stuff. It might take a bit when say Gen 10 comes out or something, or new forms or whatever it is. It takes a little bit to come out, but he's very good and such a good dude. So I'm gonna link his I'm not sure what social I'm gonna link of his, but it might be, yeah, probably his Twitter or something. But yeah, give him a shout, give him a thanks, and follow his account if you find him. But well, actually not find him, just find him down in the description below, you'll see him there. So anyway, so the first match I want to go over is Mount versus James Baek. So basically what I do is this doc shows me 2 teams. Obviously there's like a little part here where you enter the teams, and then it displays right here, and it shows you all of the information you could possibly need for preparing for a matchup like this. Gives you weaknesses, it gives you the Pokemon sprites just in case you're a visual person, abilities, it gives you difference of weaknesses and resists and immunities and stuff like that, speed tiers at max. I think a friend of mine actually customized this, so we added that max fit because I think it was designed for singles. But mine will look like this. So you can actually make it so you have min speed, you can make it so you have positive max speed and things like that. And then you have a bunch of moves down here that are in the move pool as well. So very cool stuff by Ballhawk. And thank you very much for making my life a lot easier for prepping each week. So let's get into James's team first. So wait, who do I have first? I thought I had Mount first. Let's do Mount first, because I'm going to go left to right. So let's do Mount first. So this is one of the teams that I rated a little bit lower when it came to the regular season and the other teams. Again, not because it's a bad team, it's just because I feel like it might be a little bit easier to stop, because it's very hard Trick Room. After prepping for the team, it's not as easy as it sounded. I might want to backpedal a little bit, because I didn't do any battles or anything. I just kind of went through the team and went, okay, how would I prep if it were mine? And it's not super easy, and as you may notice, there's only 1 imprisoned user on James's team, so Trick Room's going to be a little hard for him to set up, and not to mention if you lead a little bit of offense as well, right? And also, like, yes, you can do a little bit of damage, but you get Trick Room up, and now you have more than one sweeper. So even if you take out one, you've got another one waiting for you, and the game might be over in 5 turns or less, right? So I certainly hope so with a hard Trick Room team like this. So this is the way I started. So obviously, because it's a hard Trick Room team, I started with Oranguru, and I just started thinking, ooh, Terra Normal should not be right. What is it? He has no Prankster. Probably just a resisted type. So you got the Crocodile there. Not worried about the Annihilate. Might go Fairy or something. Fairy always does seem to be... And if Forever Room doesn't come, then Fairy, excuse me, looks even better. So let's just go Fairy for now. So you got the Terra type there. So the Mental Herb is there, obviously, because a lot of things get taunt on this team. I can probably count like 5 or 6 or 7 of them that actually do get taunt on this team. So especially if Trick Room is going to be so important, I definitely think you should be running Mental Herb on your Trick Room setter if it's that important, which in this case it is. I do have Psychic for the coverage because obviously you want to be able to hit the Annihilate as hard as possible. And also the Rever Room as well. Like, it attacks it neutrally as well, so never mind. What else? Let me see. And it's just solid stab damage. Instruct, because that's its shtick. If you can manage to get Trick Room up easily, or just even late game or something, the Torkoal comes in and now you can just start instructing. And even like the Hyper Voice on the Ursaluna, because I don't see Wide Guard anywhere on James's team as well. So spread moves galore, right? So that's one of the first things I look for when I'm running a team like this. Can it stop me? We'll see. Let's see if we can get Trick Room up, and then I think we're going first. So let me see. So Instruct is there, and Brick Break. So just in case the Ninetales, yes, you do have counter weather. You can switch in the Torkoal to stop him from setting up the Aurora Veil. That's fine. But also, you might not necessarily want to take the damage on a switch in. That's another risk you might have to take. So, a little bit of a contingency plan. We do have Brick Break here on the Oranguru. Obviously not for damage, but just to break those screens. Say the Ninetales is gone, and you're like, I want to be done with these screens one last time. Because one of my answers personally, when I was running a Alolan Ninetales team, is going up against a hard Trick Room team. I would just set the Aurora Veil and just like, all right, now that I have Aurora Veil for as many turns as there are Trick Room left, I should be able to stall this out, you know? Unfortunately, there was a Torkoal, so I wasn't really able to set Veil. So that's a whole nother thing. And this is the exact situation. So I'll see how James plays this out. Which is also why, when I get into the other team, you'll see exactly why I built it the way I did. So, and obviously you have the Ursaluna Blood Moon. I thought that the AV looked like a good item on there, mostly because I wanted to run 4 moves. If you look at the type chart, actually, you'll notice that James's team has a little bit of a weakness to Fairy. So especially when you have basically the counter Trick Room option on James's team is a Hydrapple. Your Blood Moon will do a lot of damage, but if it's Assault Vest, you know, I'm not going to say you're in trouble, but at the same time, it's going to hit you pretty hard back as well. So I decided to run the 4 moves, run Assault Vest myself. That way, if the Hydrapple does square off with it, we can maybe exchange blows and win the interaction. I also spec this just as fast to outspeed his fastest Pokemon. Was it his fastest Pokemon? Let me see, 98. Yeah, so this outspeeds his fastest Pokemon. So if we have the Illumise there, so we can go for a Tailwind, and now we outspeed everything on his team aside from Scarf Users. And we can go Fast Bear if we wanted to. So we have Slow Bear at 98 speed, and we have Fast Bear at 196. So you have both those options, which I think, because Ursaluna is in such a middle speed tier, it's just, I feel like the fact that you can go both ways is really, really nice. And you have the Terra Fairy Terra Blast because I thought it went well into the team, especially with the Earth Power. And as we all know, the Fairy and the Ground, it basically hits everything at least neutrally, and anything that is resistant to Fairy, Ground hits as well. So not the other way around, but you know what I'm saying. Obviously, the main part of the team is the Torkoal, I would imagine, because the Torkoal, Sun is a very, very dominant part of the team. There are some Pokemon you literally just can't draft because you're running Sun. So I would say this is the center of the team. So I'm running Weather Ball just so I can have the Stab Fire, 100 power, just solid damage, better than Flamethrower. And also we have the option, if the weather's changed, to use Ice moves. And as you can tell, Hydrapple's quad weak to it. So if that's up, that's not a huge problem. We're able to hit the Crocodile, and we're able to hit the Kilowattrel as well. So I thought that Weather Ball was a nice add to this team as well. And like I mentioned before, we have the Instruct, so the Eruption, the Dual Eruption. It just, even resisted hits, it doesn't really matter. I'm pretty sure Blastoise is dead too. So I would have to double check the calcs on that, but I'd be very, very surprised even resisted hits taking 2 of them. So Moving on to the next. Oh yeah, Yawn I have on there as well, just in case you're in a situation where Trick Room's not up and, you know, say weather's gone or something like that. You can just start yawning. It's just very, very annoying. You yawn, then protect late game, could win you the game. So, very cool move there. Blaziken. So I wanted to add a little bit of a fast mode to this team as well, because I don't like the one dimension of it. So this is an option, and I noticed that fire and flying. So if you look at fire hits so many things, and the only thing that's not hit is the Cinderace and the Blastoise. Flying hits both of those things neutrally, and especially with the Terra flying, I'm pretty sure that Cinderace is gone. And if we look at the flying moves, the only thing that is resistant to the flying is the Hydrapple, which the fire hits. Oh, sorry. The Revavroom, which the fire hits, and the Kilowattrel is not surviving a Flare Blitz. So I thought this was a very nice combination, fire flying, and then the Swords Dance, just in case they lead wrong. Do I have Fake Out on the team? I don't. Okay, so but we have Redirection, so that's another option. I'll get to that in a minute. So you could always go for a Swords Dance, and then your Speed Boost gets your speed up the next turn. Now you're outspeeding everything on the team. I believe 118 does outspeed the Kilowattrel. 118 times 1.5. Nope, I believe I went for the next one. So 177. Where is it? Ooh, that speed ties. I need to go up one more. Oops. Making changes. 19. There we go. So now we're able to outspeed at 178. And there we go. Cool. So yeah, so that's just a standard Blaziken set. Just it snowballs the longer it stays on the field. It gives you a fast option as well. Illumise. I just think this is like a really easy Illumise set. Another way of keeping your weather up is Sunny Day. Just in case you don't want to switch in the Torkoal, you could just use Sunny Day and then stop the weather from going off. I think I like that a lot. Not to mention, you set Sunny Day, so Illumise and Blaziken leading, you could always go for a Tailwind depending on the matchup, or you could just go for a Sunny Day and then a Flare Blitz, and not many things are going to survive that because it just hits so hard. So, and I believe it's Open Terra. I have to double check the rules, but I'm pretty sure it's Open Terra. So you'll know what resisted hits are a possibility. Encore is just a very nice... Prankster Encore is just so good. It's so good. You Protect or Aurora Veil or whatever it might be, or even like a bulk up on the Annihilate, sorry. You just go for an Encore, and then it's just stuck in this endless loop of support moves, or the status moves. Brick Break, again, just another option, just in case you don't want to go for the Sunny Day, and you're just like, whatever, I'll just let the Veil go up. I can just break it with Brick Break as well. So I also didn't think the offense from this thing was going to be great anyway. So you could do something like Struggle Bug if you wanted to as well. I know that Mount has a really... sorry, I'm going the other way. Sorry, yeah, I definitely don't want to Struggle Bug because you got Competitive and you have Defiant on the same team. So stat lowering moves like Icy Wind and Struggle Bug aren't exactly the best idea, because one of them is probably going to have it. I think you're safe to go with that. And let me see, Sentret. So I added Sentret because Frisk is just so nice. And I was thinking of different ways, creative ways to get Trick Room up on this team. So just in case there is an Imprisoned set, we could always just go for a Follow Me, and you can go for some offense, or you could just go for the Follow Me and the setup with the Blaziken, maybe save your Trick Room setter for later in the game, or whatever it might be. But I do, and also, by the way, Prankster Encore, by the way, so if they have the Duosion on the field, set Trick Room, or sorry, set the Imprison, you could just Encore them into that, and then they're just stuck. So that's another thing too. So it's going to cost them to stop Trick Room. So I can actually see Trick Room going up in this match specifically. Yeah, but we'll have to see how it goes. So I don't want to take forever on these teams. Eject Pack, by the way, just so you can Follow Me, get hit, Trick Room goes up, just in case they don't lead the Imprison. Follow Me, get hit, Eject Pack out, Eject Pack in either the Torkoal or the Ursaluna, depending on what your matchup looks like on the field. Trick Room goes up, and you're ready to sweep away. So that could be really nice as well. So, and then you got like Helping Hand, Super Fang, Knockoff. Just really nice utility moves on a very, very, very frail Pokemon. So, anywho, so it's either going down or it's ejecting out. Either way, you get a free switch in the next turn. So let's get into James's team. So James's team, I thought this is was one of the better teams in the draft, and it just starts with the Annihilate. It's just pretty standard set. I did mess around with EVs a little bit. Obviously, those numbers look like they do something. I believe I did something with the speed tier. So we're at 118. I probably just chose something to outspeed like a Scarfmon or something, or even maybe double speed Executor, so 118. No, that's a little too high. So I'm trying to think. So 236. Let me see. Oh, maybe it was another Tailwind because they have Tailwind themselves. So let me see. Yeah. Oh, Executor in the Sun. That's what it is. So, okay. I guess if you go Timid, I think I ran Modest, which is why it was like gets to 214. So that's why I was just like, this is a little high. So, but this is Timid because this is max rather than just Modest. So, so this just makes it so you can outspeed a Chlorophyll boosted Executor and you can still hit it, and you're good to go. What else? So then you have your standard bulk up. We have the Furret on the team for redirection so we can get some bulk ups off. We have the Tailwind to make it even faster. And then just Rage Fist just keeping going. And I believe we have the Icicle Spear. I mentioned this in the team breakdown during the draft. Icicle Spear and Annihilate was I'll just put them side by side because why not? That was definitely a mode that I wanted to see, and I do think we'll see it. Yes, Mount does have redirection, but it's not the end of the world. So I feel like you could just adapt from that point on. So that's another option there. And also Roar. So thinking of the counter side, the flip side of the matchup. So how am I going to stop Trick Room is something you could ask yourself. I originally had an Imprisoned Duosian on there, and then I thought about it and I was just like, it's kind of like dead weight once it sets it. So maybe Imprison on something a little bit better might be the way to go. So it doesn't have it. So Duosian just goes off to the side. So I have Roar. I've got Roar on the Alolan Ninetales. That way, if there isn't redirection and they want to go for a Trick Room, and I am Terra Ghost, so if you want to fake us out, we can Terra Ghost and then Roar the Trick Room setter. Roar is a very, very underrated move. It goes through Protect. There's nothing they can do about it. Trick Room is not going up. I guess if it's Prankster maybe, because Prankster does boost Trick Room by 1, and I think they're both the same priority. So then it just comes down to speed, which one goes first, which is really interesting interaction. So, but yeah, so that's the Ninetales set. Just Blizzard spam, and then you got Moonblast. This last slot was actually Protect at one point, and I was just like, it's a Sash set, and it's Modest, so I didn't really need the speed in anything. So Moonblast is such a strong move, so maybe Moonblast with this investment will be a little strong. It might be strong enough. So I figured I would throw that in there as well, and Fairy coverage is always nice as well. The Kilowattrel, pretty standard. Covert Cloak. I had the Terra Electric for just, why? I don't even have an electric move. I guess we're going Terra Flying. Oops, I built these teams a little quickly today, guys, but there was a method to it. So the Kilowattrel, Terra Flying, I thought that Flying did go pretty well into the team for the most part. As you can see, we have 4 weaknesses and 2 resists. Raichu being the only one that, obviously, it resists it. And then you have the Copperaja, which I don't think I'm super afraid of when you have the Annihilate and the Crocodile and the Cinderace. I figured it's not really much. So Air Slash should do pretty well, not to mention if you get a Tailwind up, now you have that 30% flinch chance as well. So just a really nice nice option there. And I also have the Weather Ball on there as well, just in case the weather is up that I choose, or if they choose. I can choose whether or not it's a Fire move or a Ice move. So I like that option on Kilowattrel. And I guess that's a little bit of a pseudo Bolt Beam, isn't it? If I set the snow, and I have the... Oh, I don't even have electric. That's the second time I said that. Sorry, guys. Jay's not crazy. But it's been... I got 8 teams ready to go through, so and I built these a little bit earlier in the day. So bear with me, everybody. Bear with me. So, the Crocodile. I was really considering running Disc Quake. I just have Quake. I feel like Earthquake is really nice on this team. I've got to Protect in a few different places. So we have the option to Protect or Earthquake, or switch in the Kilowattrel and Earthquake, and so on and so forth. And the Intimidate is just really nice into that team as well. The Copperaja, and then the Blaziken, things like that. By the way, on the other team, because I saw the Intimidate, I actually have Clear Amulet on the Blaziken, so I'm kind of prepping against myself right now. But again, the fundamentals and the theory still apply, so... So the 4 moves: Knockoff, Snarl, Earthquake, Low Kick. The Knockoff is just one of the strongest knockoffs there are because it's Stab. Snarl, because this team is very, very special. So one thing you can do is you can lead the Crocodile, and if they're going to get Trick Room up, you just Snarl, and you're just good to go. So, and I'm pretty sure that this thing can take one of the moves from the special attackers with the Assault Vest as an option. But a Snarl, yeah, if you want to go for damage and set Trick Room, you're about to be -1, and your Trick Room is going to be, you know, 1 stat drop lower. So This thing is going to be a little hard to take down with the Intimidate and the Assault Vest. I think it's just a nice combo, and the attack investment that we have. On James's side, I do have Redirection because I do see that Executor there, which does get Sleep Powder. Sleep Powder, Redirection with Safety Goggles is always nice, and you may have noticed this is the exact same set I had on the Sentret. So, funny enough, they get the same move pool, which is awesome. So, unfortunately, no beat up, but for the Annihilate, but it is what it is. So, with Helping Hand, just boosting the damage of everything else, every partner it can end up on. Super Fang knocking 50% down or 51% based on how they EV'd their Pokemon. And then we also have just the knockoff just for some utility as well. Terra Ghost, just in case they want to go for a Fake Out Trick Room or Fake Out and then Sleep Powder. And again, so on and so forth. So, and then the Cinderace. This was a really nice addition, I thought. The Chilean Berry wasn't even necessarily because I think it's the best item on Cinderace. I just wanted to mention it somewhere. It is possible that Chilean Berry is used this week because it could survive a Blood Moon. So Chilean Berry, obviously normal isn't super effective against anything in the game, but this item lowers the normal type damage of one move by 50%. I've seen it lower a Fake Out before. Really unfortunate, but hopefully you don't get faked out. But I can see it on a numerous amount of things, especially with that ability going through ghost types as well. Feint I thought was a really cool move because you have obviously the speed boost Blaziken. A lot of the times of speed boost Pokemon, what they want to do is they want to protect first turn. So you might be able to go, for example, Cinderace, Kilowattrel, use Feint into the Protect Mon, and then just go for damage from the Crocodile, and then it goes down. So, and that'd be a very, very surprising first turn. I think I did it to a Talonflame one time, and I thought it was really cool. It really gave me an advantage, and I won the game. So, coaching, again, I mentioned this in the team breakdown when it came to the drafts. Coaching is a very, very good move on Cinderace because it's so fast, and Taunt as well. So you can coach your Annihilate, you can coach your Crocodile, don't coach, well, I guess you can coach your Ninetales with Icicle Spear, but wouldn't recommend it. But anyway, just in case you're physical attackers, or he's leaning on one of his physical attackers on his side, you could just coach and bolster your defenses as well. So that's the first matchup. Who do I think is going to win this one? I don't know. I'm actually going to go out on a limb, and I know this. I do. Okay, because when I was prepping for this, for either side, I thought it was a lot more difficult to stop this Trick Room team getting Trick Room up than I expected it to be. So I'm going to go out and give the edge to Mount here. James is a heck of a player, so I'm not even getting into the players. I know Mount's a very good player as well. I know a lot of people were commenting all his accolades and success he's had in draft, and I think I vaguely remembered as well. So yes, Mount is no player to take lightly. And with a team like this, and again, it was really difficult to stop Trick Room from going up just theoretically. So with a team like this, and you know what really sucks is your strongest Pokemon doesn't hit the Trick Room setter. Unfortunately, not very well. Rage Fist just does not hit the Oranguru at all. So yeah, a little more difficult for James to stop it. He might embrace it, maybe lean on the Hydrapple a bit, but that wouldn't have been my first decision to go, but he might have considered that as well. So that's the first matchup, and let's get into the second one. Let's see. Oh, there we go. Let's keep go, and then we get into this one. So the next matchup is actually Uzi versus Cybertron. This is going to be a fun one because I thought I rated both of these teams pretty high. So let's start with Uzi's team. So he started with the Dragapult, so I'm going to be bringing the Dragapult. I don't know why I thought this, but when you see a Dondozo, you like critting through those defense boosts. So I was thinking that Gallade, obviously the Sacred Sword goes through the boost anyway, but it's a Dondozo, so it's really strong. So I was thinking, I'm like, man, if I could just get a bunch of crits into that team, that'd be so nice. I wanted to fit Leaf Blade, I just couldn't fit it, unfortunately. But I did manage to get a Dragon Shear Dragapult next to the Gallade, and I thought that could be really nice because it obviously hits the Slacking, it goes into the Dozer really well. We have knockoff for the Goldango, and in a closed team sheet format, you have to watch out for Wide Guard on Gallade. So we do have a defensive Terra on the Gallade as well. So if you run into the Goldango, you know, it's not the end of the world. So Gallade is a very difficult Pokemon to actually run into on turn 1. So we'll have to see how that goes. But I do have the Dragapult with a little bit of a support one, but at the same time, a little bit of offense in case I need it. So we've got the Will-O-Wisp as well, because obviously the Slacking, if you burn it, it would be fantastic. The Dozo, it's the only thing on the field and it's faster, so you could just burn it. There are multiple ways to stop this Dondozo from going off. Will-O-Wisp is one of them, and the Sacred Sword is another, knocking off the healing items. Obviously, whenever you're prepping against a Dozogiri team, number one, you have to find multiple ways to stop that Dozogiri because it's so powerful in draft. So powerful. I faced it, and it's just... The scariest thing, usually when you're in the match, isn't the Dozogiri. It's you focusing on the Dozogiri and them bringing something else and popping off with it, unfortunately. So, but I guess I kind of did 2 mons in once there. So another Dozo counter, I've Encore on the Whimsicott, and I have Worry Seed. So Worry Seed, it is able to change the ability. So I guess that works for the Dozo as well, just in case you wanted to burn it and it's running... What's that one ability? Where is it? I've got it right here. It is Water Veil, so you can't burn it. Obviously Oblivious means you can't lower its attack, and then Unaware, it ignores your boosts as well. So if we do get some stat boosts like on the Glissaur or something like that, at least we can change the ability on the Dozo to make it easier to kill. But mostly what it's there for is I wanted to Worry Seed that Weezing Galar, because Weezing Slacking or Weezing Toadschool, you could always just lead the Whimsicott and you just taunt the Weezing, and now the partner gets its ability back because Weezing no longer has neutralizing gas. So that could be a really fun way of doing it as well. So, and then I have Tailwind, obviously for obvious Tailwind reasons. And then we have Moonblast just for straight up damage. I don't know what the damage calc does into that Murkrow, but I'm sure there's a way you can spec it to KO it. Araquanid, I was bouncing around with a bunch of different ways of running this Araquanid. All I knew is it was probably coming. The only concern it really has is the Pawmot and possibly the Murkrow. I think one of my favorite things to do to Araquanid against it is Brave Bird it. It doesn't like Brave Birds very well, especially, excuse me, if they're stab. So I got the Wakanberry on there just to stop the T-Bolts from the Goldengo, the Double Shock from the Pawmot, and unfortunately I can't deal with the Brave Bird, so hopefully it is a bulky one rather than a Focus Sash one that might have a little bit of offense in it. But we have other things to deal with that Murkrow, don't worry. So we got Lunge for lowering the, where is it? Lowering the attack stat, so just for a little bit of utility, just in case you don't want to hit things. Against the Dozo especially, one of the hardest things about Dozo isn't just killing it, it's just the damage it puts out. So if you can lunge, take a hit, lunge, and just keep lowering its attack one by one, that could actually give you an advantage. You can whittle it down. So that was another reason why I ran it. Wide Guard, I do feel like you have to run Wide Guard on this team somewhere because you have the Goldengo with the Make It Rain is just so strong if you get set up properly. So that was another thing. And just in case the Weezing wants to run like a Specs D-Gleam or something, you have that option as well. Glissaur, I don't have a lot of experience running this thing, but this is a singles dream. A singles player's dream. I know the Toxic Orb set was, you can basically put it in a situation where it can't die for the most part. If it has such a good defensive typing naturally, only being weak to water and ice, just like a pseudo Landorus. So high horsepower and dual wing beat. So if you look at the offense, so if you look here, flying hits everything super effectively or neutrally except for the Goldengo, and then we have a high horsepower for that. So this is one of my favorite things to mention in draft whenever you are building. If you can find the 2 stabs that a Pokemon gets, and between the 2 it hits everything on the team neutral, it is so good to build around. I can't emphasize enough, people are so prepared for super effective damage and switch-ins and stuff like that, but a lot of the times they're not ready for stab, just neutral damage, right? So if you can get it into a situation with a Swords Dance or something where neutral damage is just KOing what you need to, it's really hard to decide what to switch in or what items to run. So neutral damage I advocate for massively. And here's a fun one. So I don't necessarily know if Uzi's gonna run this. I just thought it was funny. I think I was building a team and I even had the 6 slot. I don't remember what it was. I think it might have been the Berserker just so I could get Fake Out on the team, but I just couldn't not run Topsy-Turvy against a Dondozo. I thought it was so cool when I thought about it. I was just like, this thing, like, yeah. This thing, if you can get it to do all of its like Omni Boost, this double Omni Boost, and you just topsy-turvy and just now it's -2 and everything, I would just, that'd be the best content ever. And we have the superpower the contrary, so you can just get attack and defense boosts as the match goes on every single time you use it. Stab knockoff is just an incredibly good move for utility. And skill swap, another way of just changing abilities and stuff like that. So I think I did this as well. So your Dragapult actually gets Draco Meteor. So if you can skill swap the contrary onto your Dragapult, it doesn't necessarily need its clear body. So, and actually in this situation, I might, because it's Focus Sash, I might even take off that the clear body and put on like Curse Body or something like that. That'd be so nice to get a Kurt to just disable one of their moves. That'd be really nice. Or Infiltrator, just in case we're worried about screens, which I don't necessarily think that's the case. Okay, so that basically does it. So I just finished with the Malamar. And so let's dive into Aaron Zheng's team. Aaron Zheng's side of the match. So his team is so strong, and I couldn't just not bring what his team just kind of does. As you can see, we have the Goldango Murkrow, we have the Dozo the Geary, and we have the Weezing with the Slacking on the same team. I thought that this would be the strongest way to run the team as well. There was a version where I actually had maybe the Toadschool on there. Is it Toadschool? I forgot the, let me see. Yeah, Toadschool. I can't remember the name of the other one. I think it's the same thing, right? Toadschool. Anyway. Oh, Tentacool and Tentacruel. Oh my goodness. I'm a Gen 1er and everything. So anyway, so we've got the, I wanted to start with the Weezing because shutting off the abilities, because one of the first things you look at when you're Aaron's side looking at the other side, Uzi's side, you see a lot of really nice abilities. You see Water Bubble on Araquanid, you see the Gallade with Sharpness, you see the Prankster on the Whimsicott, you see, like, what's it called? The Skiploom with the Chlorophyll, Contrary on the Malamar. So being able to shut down those abilities could throw a whole wrench into this whole team. So that was one of the first things I wanted to start with, and just as a result, you ended up putting Slacking on there, and the team just kind of developed pretty quickly. This wasn't too hard of a team to build. The hardest thing was deciding what the Dozo was going to be. As you guys can see, Wave Crash, Heavy Slam. If we go down to the type chart down here, so you got Water that hits most things, and then Heavy Slam hits the others. So the only thing that doesn't deal with it doesn't hit is the Araquanid. So we have the Order Up on there. So if we could just keep getting attacks boost with that the Dragon move on Order Up, that might just be able to deal with the Araquanid in the end. But I do feel like we have other ways of dealing with said Araquanid as well. So as I mentioned, the Weezing on the field, or on the team, we have the Strange Stream. Obviously, if you look at fairy damage, it's very, very nice. The Gallade looks very strong on the other side of the field. It does a bunch of different things, so getting rid of it would just be ideal. Sludge Bomb, just to get rid of that pesky Whimsicott. And then the Skiploom, just in case it wants to be a problem. Terra Blast, Terra Ground, I thought looked pretty good into the team as well. The Typhlosion, the Toxtricity, I think it was more so the Toxtricity that I can't really hit it. So just in case that's brought, I do have Terra Ground, Terra Blast. And because it's quad super effective, it's not going to be too hard to take this thing down with the Terra Blast, even without any investment. So that might be able to just be a sneaky way of doing it. And I do believe that this Weezing at 81, no, I spec that to outspeed something else with 162, 161s. Yeah, to outspeed the Typhlosion and the Gliscor as well. So you go for a Tailwind on your side, and you go for the Terra Ground, Terra Blast, and you might be able to take out that Typhlosion, especially before it gets a crazy eruption off. So that could be nice. And then I got Protect down there, Citrus Berry for survivability. Goldango. These three moves are all you really need. Make It Rain hits everything on the team. Anything it doesn't, we have an answer for that. So we have Steel. It's just so good into most things. Then we have the Typhlosion. We have Power Gem for that, and Shadow Ball. Take your pick. We have the Toxtricity. Either, I think the Shadow Ball will be neutral into it. You have the Shadow Ball into the Berserker, and you also have the Araquanid for the super effective Power Gem as well. I was considering the electric move, the Thunderbolt, but I didn't want to just lean into electric as well, because I feel like that's just an easy way of doing it. And this hits more than one thing, so why not, right? The Murkrow, Sucker Punch is one of Dragapult's worst enemies, so I figured Sucker Punch into that thing is just always devastating. By the way, I did have Focus Sash on the Dragapult on the other side of the other team, just because I do see that Sucker Punch over there. So I don't want to have one of my best Pokemon go down to a Murkrow, so that was the other thing. So Murkrow has Sucker Punch, Tailwind, Brave Bird, obviously Brave Bird going into that Araquanid, and Taunt. Just in case you find out that something is going to, say for example, the Eviolite on the Skiploom, you can just taunt it. Chances are it's not running the Mental Herb, so you should be able to get it off. Just watch out for the Terra Dark. The Malamar, if it Terras, you can taunt it. And the Whimsicott as well, taunting it as well. And if just in case the you have like a Roost or something, or a Swords Dance on the Gliscor, you can taunt it as well. So Prankster Taunt is just really, really nice. Going on to the next Pokemon, the Tatsugiri, just in case your Dondozo doesn't just obliterate everything else on the field. You do have Muddy Water, Draco Meteor, Icy Wind, Dragon Pulse with Choice Scarf. That way when it goes down, or if it goes down, this thing could just start doing immediate pressure right off the bat. So that is probably the way to go. I've seen a bunch of different Tatsugiris and creative ways of doing it, but I had to build 8 teams and I'm a busy guy. So anyway, and the Slacking. So the Slacking also has Sucker Punch, which is beautiful. 160 attack. This thing is no joke. Like when I ran this thing Jolly Nature, because I needed the Jolly Nature to get to the speed stat that I needed, I was surprised to see my attack still at 212. So that was really cool to see. And I don't need any HP because look how friggin' high it is. So I just threw it in the lowest defensive stat. So, and the Terra Water just seemed to be the best thing into that team. There's no grass type except for the Skiploom on the team, and the Electric type is Toxicity, and I feel like we can deal with that. So, especially with we have Body Slam, Drain Punch. Okay, I thought we had high horsepower on there. It gets everything, guys, so it's pretty much what you choose. So those are the 2 teams. Who do I think is going to come out on top in this matchup? Honestly, I don't know how Aaron doesn't win this. It has nothing to do with Uzi as a player. It has nothing to do with the fact that he's a singles player. He has such a solid team, and he's a really smart guy. I've seen some of his singles content. Very good and very good team. I just think that this is just so much offense. Like, how do you deal with all of these modes at the same time? It's going to be a tall order, but I'm going to give the edge to Cybertron this week. But moving on to the next team. So the third match, so we got Shadypenguinn versus Nekkra. And I do think Nekkra was my favorite team in the draft, so we'll have to see how that one goes. But we'll start with Shady's team. So Shady drafted Ursaluna and Didi and another hard Trick Room team. So I did the best I could to make it work. And again, it took a little bit of work, but I'm able to do a fast mode and a bulky enough team to give you something to think about. I just don't know if Nekkra is just going to go straight up damage right off the bat, but we do have options on this team to kind of get around that and pivots and things like that. So I started with the Ursaluna. I didn't want to go with the Flame Orb version because Intimidate, she's got 2 of them and they're probably both coming. I would. So even if I do get the Guts boost, it's going to lower my attack and get it back to neutral, or just do it again, especially with Gyarados being such a good switch in for Ursaluna anyway on the ground moves. You're probably getting intimidated. So I figured Clear Amulet's the way to go. I think there's a very good chance we're going to see that item on Ursaluna. And then we have just the coverage. So we have Double Edge instead of Facade because we're not getting burned. Headlong Rush because it's just so friggin' strong. The Thunder Punch, I believe that other than my 2 stabs, so like normal, and we have the ground. So ground hits, so we have, let me see. So Thunder Punch hits the Scyther. We have what's called Double Edge for the Rotom, Thunder Punch for the Fletchinder, Thunder Punch for the Gyarados, and then just everything else. The 2 stabs just deal so much damage to everything else. So I thought Thunder Punch was a very good move to put on there, and Fairy just being the best defensive Terra I could find. Indeedee, this is actually a really funny Indeedee set, and if you see it, comment down below if you guys see it, but I'll mention it in a second. So I have Imprison on here. You can get really creative with Imprison sets. So one of the biggest problems with Nekkra's team facing it is the Follow Me Clefable. If you can imprison that Follow Me, there ain't no more Follow Me. They can't use it anymore, which I think would be absolutely hilarious, and that'd be the most draft thing I've ever seen. So anyway, so imprisoning the Follow Me so the Clefable just can't do it anymore, and now you can just hit the offensive threats as much as you want. That'd be really, really cool. Heal Pulse just to keep the Ursaluna alive, and a few of the other things. We have a couple of setup sets. And then obviously the Psychic just for stab damage. So I think that Hitmontop is going to be a little bit of a problem as well, just because it's so annoying. And then Indeedee wouldn't be itself unless you add the Armarouge next to it. We do have the Expanding Force on there. Unfortunately, that can't be the only move we have on there because you have a Tyranitar, which is immune to it, and you have wide guard on the side of the field as well. So we have armor cannon. Unfortunately, this doesn't really deal with the T-Tar because armor cannon's resisted and the sand's up, but you have a Will-O-Wisp for that, just in case you're running into it. And you can either run away and just get in a defensive pivot for that. I think that Orthworm would do a great job with that as well, which is also on the team. Or you can just burn it. Say you have like 2 or 3 HP left or 10 HP, you're about to go down anyway. Just burn it, go down, and move on, right? Special T-Tar is a thing, but I do think that you can get enough information and just burn it. She has so many physical threats. I think that Will-O-Wisp is a nice play. Scrafty. I love Scrafty in draft in general. I actually saw somebody pick it round one time, and I was like, okay, sure. But they used it every single week and loved it, and it was great. So hats off to them. Fake Out, Drain Punch knockoff, the 2 stabs and Fake Out hits most things. And just in case there is a, what did I have? The Poison Jab. Oh yeah, for the Clefable, the Poison Jab. So Terra Poison, Poison Jab will able to deal with that Clefable. So you can either imprison it like we mentioned before to stop it redirecting, or you could just probably 2-hit KO it with that Poison Jab. Just make sure you invest a little bit because a lot of Clefables go max defense bold. So that's another thing. The Intimidate, obviously, yeah. And then unfortunately, this is a slower Fake Out, especially at min speed that we're running, than their Fake Out user. So running Covert Cloak, sometimes what they do is they'll just Fake Out your Fake Out user, and then, you know, it's hard for you to get going. But if they do that, now you could just go off, you can Fake Out their partner, and you could just go off with the partner next to the Scrafty as well. So it might actually win you a game. Covert Cloak is one of the best items I've ever seen. Very cool. Orthworm. We haven't seen this set in a while, have we? So this is the Orthworm set that, did it win a regional? I just think it just became meta at one point. It wasn't there for very long. It was like Flamigo. I know we've seen Flamigo recently, I know at the regional in Milwaukee, I think it was, no, Pittsburgh, that's what it was. It was there on a couple of teams on day 2. But this is another Pokemon that doesn't stay there for very long. We have the Iron Defense Body Press Heavy Slam set on this thing. Because the Garchomp is there, the T-Tar, so many physical attackers. If we can get 1 Iron Defense off, just 1, that might actually just win us the game straight up. Because this thing with Leftovers and Protect, it might be in a situation where it's unkillable. So I love those win conditions. So if you just position it properly, you KO the thing that threatens it. That may just be the Hitmontop, for example. We have Terra Fairy for that just in case. Or they just are able to taunt it or something, or burn it or whatever. You can just KO that, then it comes on the field and it just, you can't kill it. Anyway. The Drifblim, this is one of the cooler sets I think on this team for Shady, is you can run the Flame Orb Flare Boost Drifblim. This is a really cool set. It is a free choice specs for the most part. It's just a +1 once you're burned. So we run the Flame Orb, we get burned, and we have Shadow Ball and Terra Blast. So Ghost and Fairy, I think we all know of a very famous Ghost Fairy type in the game that's really strong. So, and actually, I just want to double check. 156? Hold on a second. 156 times 1.5. Oh, look at that. This thing has a higher special attack than Fluttermane. Cool. So let's call this Pseudo Fluttermane in draft. So you have Terra Fairy, Terra Blast, and Shadow Ball. Tailwind, actually, so just in case they're expecting you like to do something different, you can get a Tailwind off. Now you have your Flame Orb boost. Now you have your Tailwind up at +2, and you can either start going for speed control with your Icy Winds or just start doing straight up damage with this thing. So, and it is so bulky with this amount of EVs in its defense. So I think this is a really cool set. Will I see it this week? It depends how much Shady wants to cook. But this is what I would bring. So this video is more so what I would bring. I will mention what I think will be brought. These are, a lot of them will overlap because I don't think it's too far off. I feel like some of the niche things, like obviously Orthworm, this set's very normal, very typical. The Scrafty set, I don't think there's anything crazy about this. The Armarouge, same thing. The Indeedee, maybe the Imprison. Ursaluna, it's nothing crazy. But the Drifblim, it's a little crazy. It's a little crazy. I like to cook. Jay over here likes to cook. But anyway. So that is Shady's team. Let's go on to Nekkra's team. Let me see. Nekkra's team. So, Nekkra's team is just so easy to build with. I had so much fun building with this thing. Notice that I don't have the Garchomp on the team. I didn't think Garchomp went into this matchup super well. It just doesn't do enough single target damage in a lot of cases. It basically sticks around and just starts hitting things. But It was more so just I didn't like the positioning of it in some scenarios. I'm not running the full Disquake thing or whatever it is. This team isn't really the one to do it against. You know, the Fungus with the Eviolite, it makes it a little difficult. You know, you got the Ursaluna. It's going to be really hard to take that thing out because it's so physical. The Braviary, you're immune to one of your stabs. And then there's Intimidate with the Stantler and the Scrafty. So unless you're running Clear Amulet Garchomp, it's going to be a little difficult. Not like you can't, it's just I didn't on this one. So, but we do have the Gyarados here. I thought the Gyarados looked fantastic into this team. Gyarados in VGC, it's a little hard to make it work right now. But Gyarados in Draft, there are less answers. So if you guys look here, so against this team, Water hits everything on this team neutral or super effectively except for the Fungus. And then we have the Terraflying Terra Blast. This was no surprise to see this. This used to be a very common set when the game came out. Terraflying Terra Blast because it doesn't get any flying coverage. Got the Intimidate there. We could run Moxie if we wanted to, but why not, right? Just in case the other team doesn't run the Clear Amulet, we can definitely get some Intimidates off. So, and we have Dragon Dance. So the cool thing is we have Clefable with Follow Me. So we can go for a Gyarados with the Clefable, Follow Me, get a Dragon Dance off, and so on and so forth. You can fake out Dragon Dance. I think there's going to be a lot of ways that Dragon Dance is going to get up with this Gyarados. And with this set, after a +1, we see 108 outspeeds what? I did these calcs earlier. 108 outspeeds the 161s, I believe. Yeah, that's probably all you need, right? So it outspeeds the Houndoom. Or is it the Rotom? One or the other, I don't remember. The Rotom would be really important, I would imagine. Actually, the Houndoom is mine, isn't it? No, the Rotom's mine. Oh, so I outspeed the Indeedee, and I outspeed the Rotom. Sorry, the Houndoom. Oh my goodness. I normally don't build both teams, guys. Normally, I only have the one side, but I'm both times. I basically have to put on my other team's hat, basically when I talk about it. So I'll get better as the season goes on, don't worry. So the Gyarados is pretty standard. Rotom. This was originally a Scarf set, but I don't need the speed, so I'm going to go for Specs, because I do think that Leaf Storm is just really nice. Just a delete button for the Ursaluna that would be really, really nice. Thunderbolt hits, obviously, the, let me see, the Braviary, hits the Drift Blim, and it's just stab damage, first of all. And if you go Terra Water, which is a really nice defensive Terra, you have that as well. Volt Switch to get the heck out of there with a choice item. I think that's a pretty common staple on a lot of choice sets. And we have Tricks, so another thing we can do is trick the Choice Specs onto the Ursaluna. We can trick it onto the Scrafty, let alone the Earthworm. That would be really cool. Or even the Fungus. So I do think that tricking a choice item onto a lot of these things, they won't like it. But if it's red, then you can switch in one of your special attackers, like, say, the Drift Blim or the Armarouge, and now you have a Specs threat that you just gave it to. So use at your own risk. The Hitmontop. It's just basically another way of running Assault Vest and running Wide Guard at the same time. I do believe there is a 99.9% chance that this Indeedee is showing up to this set. So I think the Psychic Seed is very likely to get off, especially with the special threats they have on the team. The Psychic Seed can do really well. We have Ice Spinner just in case we don't like the terrain. We can get rid of it. Say they go the Indeedee and the Armarouge. We can just go for a defensive Terra and then get rid of it. We also have the Fake Out for when if it is gone or if it's not there. We can also fake out the Braviary because even in Psychic Terrain, this thing can be faked out. The Drift Blim, not so much because it's a Ghost type. Don't do that. I've seen it. Don't do it. And don't fake out other things in Psychic Terrain either. That's a very Bush League move. So, Close Combat, again, the deletion of the Ursaluna, the Scrafty, the Earthworm, the Stantler, the Houndoom. Fighting just goes so well into this team, so I couldn't not put it on there. And then the Wide Guard for the Expanding Force, the Earthquake, and I guess the Icy Wind. I don't know, maybe. Heat Wave or whatever it might be, but obviously it's there for the Heat Wave on the Armarouge and the Expanding Force, but I don't think he's running double spread, especially with a Wide Guard user as prominent as the Hitmontop. T-Tar, this one is the AV set. I don't think this thing's anything crazy either. It's pretty standard. I did go to Terra Water because I didn't want to go flying, not against this team. But the Terra Water, they've got no grass type that's really threatening at all, and they have no electric type. So water is going to be neutral into most things, or most things are going to be neutral into water. So I figured that's just a good way of keeping T-Tar on the field as long as possible. And just straight up moves. This thing is meant to do damage. If you get intimidated, just pivot. You're good to go. Clefable. I mentioned this in the draft recap as well. The Magic Guard on the Clefable is able to ignore the Sand Chip. which could be really nice, and the Life Orb chip as well. So this is a little bit of a dual purpose Clefable I wanted to run, because I do like the Follow Me, just kind of redirecting and just kind of getting around what they're trying to do. Obviously the Ursaluna, like it wants to destroy things. So if you can just follow me, you know, the Clefable probably goes down. Maybe not in this situation because it's, you know, it's not the Guts version. And then we have the Moonblast and the Shadow Ball. Again, you guys are seeing a trend. So Fairy, where is it? Fairy hits everything on the team and Shadow Ball hits the rest. So that's just another way to go. And also, not to mention, Ghost looks pretty good into these things as well. So I figured Shadow Ball looked pretty good. And the Terra Ghost to boost the damage as well. So it's not just non-stab Shadow Ball. This thing is going to do a lot of damage. I think the Clefable, some people just sit back on it thinking it's, oh, it's going to follow me. Oh, it might just go for whatever it might be. And Clefable maybe just passive Degleams. But no, this thing's going to hit hard. So, Fletchinder. This Fletchinder I think is pretty cool actually. So this has a few different things that you need on this team that I'm really glad I added it at the end. Because it's such a standard Earthworm set that we didn't really have an answer for because it just looked pretty good into it. Overheat could get the job done on Fletchinder. It's such a strong attack in Terra Fire. It might just get the job done when you need to, right? Because this thing could just put itself in a situation where it can't die. So I was going to run Flare Blitz, but why? I could just run a special move and then you can't really boost it. And then we have Taunt. Taunt, obviously, against a hard Trick Room team like a Fungus, an Indeedee. You can just run Taunt instead of faking it out or just stopping Trick Room from going up. But I feel like Nekkra can just let Trick Room go up. I don't think I'm super afraid of this Trick Room mode. Maybe the Fungus gets out of hand. But as long as you get rid of that Indeedee, I think you're okay. So, but Ursaluna, as long as it does, because if it has Flame Orb, you just Intimidate Cycle, you're fine. And if it has Clear Amulet, it needs to start setting up. Like, I guess it could run like Bulk Up or something or whatever. But worry about that as it happens. So that is Nekkra's team. So when it comes to this matchup, who would I give the edge to? Nekkra or Shady? I really like Nekkra's team. How do I rate it first in the draft and just not give it the advantage in week 1? So I would definitely give the edge to Nekkra in this one. You just got to execute. That's the thing. This is because you're facing an Ursaluna, like it might just start deleting what it needs to delete, and now you can't take it down. It just took down the one threat you had. So that might be another thing. And the fact that it's an Intimidate setter, Trick Room setter for a Stantler, it might be a little hard to deal with, especially if you're not running Clear Amulet and you have so many physical attackers. Something's getting the attack drop. Something is. You can only have one that's not. So, and I don't even think we have Clear Amulet on the Gyarados. So, hopefully we see that. That'd be pretty cool. Let me see. Getting into the last matchup, the one that everybody's been waiting for. We have the Pokeaimmd versus Wolfey. This is going to be probably the game of the week for me because both players are so creative. I made my best effort to guess what they're going to do or what looks good. But there's no way. I'm probably going to be 0 for 6. These guys are so creative and they're on their own level. So this is just my variation of what I think they would do. But because of the players that they are, I'm probably going to get everything wrong. But watch along with me when we're actually doing the games. I'm going to be checking to see what we were right on and what we weren't right on. And it's like, oh man, we were way off. Or like, oh, I knew we would run that. I thought that'd be pretty cool. So maybe our predictions go well. Let's see. So our first team we're going to go with is Pokeaimmd's team. Hard Rain team. So I decided to go with it. So we've got the Pelipper. I figured that the Pelipper running Focus Sash makes sense. Because obviously the because of the, where is it? The Glimmora was the scariest. That's what it was. This thing runs Meteor Beam Power Herb. You're just done. Like, it's faster than you are. You're just dead. And I hate to say, like, I don't like losing a game turn 1. So I figured Focus Sash made sense. And then you could just Weather Ball it back. Or if it's Terra Grass, maybe you can read the Terra Grass and just Hurricane into it. That might be good. Or just get your Tailwind up for the next turn. If they don't need Tailwind, then you can get your own Tailwind up and now you have the speed advantage. So that's another option as well. Terra Ghost gets around the Fake Out. And again, a pretty standard set. I don't think this is a surprise to anyone. The Archaludon, there are a million ways to run this thing. The fact that Wolfey can change the weather if you wanted to, a couple of different ways. I didn't want to just completely rely on the rain for the Electro Shot. So I do have Power Herb on there. It's not consumed if the rain's up, but once the rain goes away, especially if it's not revealed, it's like, okay, cool, it can't use the electric move. and it has Power Herb, and it just uses it at the last second. So that would be really tough for that Primarina. So that's why we have that. And the stamina boost. Did we give us anything to boost that stamina? No, I don't think so. We can maybe flip turn out or something. It's a resisted hit, so give us a defense boost. We do have the body press on there for those defense boosts if they stack up a little bit. Meowstic. So one of the things I liked about Meowstic is there are no dark types on Wolfey's team, I don't think, right? So let me see. Yeah, there's no dark types on Wolfey's team, so you can just T-Wave everything. Prankster T-Wave is so strong. Like, you get the half speed and you get the 1 in 4 chance for them not to do anything. You could just completely cripple an entire team with this little cat. So I think that'd be really cool. And I did mention in the draft video that the recap as well, that you have the drizzle weather and you have the manual weather with the rain dance on the Prankster. So I do believe why not run that, because this team does like the weather. So why not? Fake out, Meowstic. I think all cats get the fake out move, and psychic just for damage into that Hariyama and that Venonat. So, and the Glimmora, by the way. That would be really cool if you could just do some sneaky damage. So, Basculegion. We've got the Choice Band on there with adaptability. I don't feel like we need the speed this week, especially because Tailwind and the Focus Sash. Imagine a front row Archaludon, and you have your Pelipper that rains up. And then, for some reason, the Pelipper goes down later. You actually have now a Rain Boosted Adaptability, Wave Crash, or Last Respects with Choice Band. So that could just win you the game right there. So, and just standard moves, Last Respects, Wave Crash, Aqua Jet, Flip Turn, just to get out of there. I mentioned in the last team that having a pivoting move on a choice item is just always nice. And the Terra Water just to do as much damage as possible. So, pretty sure this KO's an Amoonguss, this Wave Crash. I think I ran it in Reg H. I think when it first came around, I was like, yeah, let's just delete Amoonguss. It's hilarious. This is probably the cooking on this team that I decided to do. Zebstrika. I said some things about Zebstrika on the draft that I was just like, or during the draft at the end, I'm like, why? It makes no sense. Why would you do it? Well, I found a use for it. Wolfey's got that Trevenant, and I was staring at it the whole time when I was prepping, and I was like, this thing looks too good into this team right now. I need something to deal with it. So Zebstrika with Sap Sipper. By the way, its physical attack is stronger than its special attack. So if you can switch in on a grass move, get the Sap Sipper boost, now you're doing some damage, right? So you're at about 220, 230 after you get the attack boost, and it's so naturally fast that we have ground, we have electric, and we have the Terra Flying Terra Blast. It's an offense and defensive Terra because we can just start Terra Flying Terra Blasting things. Wolfey's team doesn't look great into flying. And then we have the ground for the Glimmora, and we have the ground for the Dedenne. So I do believe that flying and ground can do the job, and you have your Stab Electric just to deal with that Primarina, which is also really scary. So moving on to the Poltergeist, the second round pick that everybody loves. I got a lot of crap given to me in the comments in the video that we did last which, hey, I eat my words. If this thing is like an MVP on this team or just does really well, I will eat those words, and I will be very happy for Joey as well. So Life Dew Eviolite just keeps it alive as long as possible. Hospitality just keeps other things alive. Again, with the Pelipper, the Archaludon, just keeping them alive as long as possible. You can pivot in and out. It's also another grass switch, and just watch out for that second stab on the Trevenant. Just in case you switch into the wrong move, you just go down. So be really careful. Scald, just that secondary chance for burns into that Mamoswine, because obviously you can't intimidate it. Not like he has Intimidate anyway. But yeah, and also the Hariyama as well. You don't want to burn it, so don't do that. So Scald is just nice. Rain boosted Scald, and it hits the Arcanine, hits the Glimmora. You can burn the Mamoswine for super effective damage. Believe it or not, this looks a little bit better than I thought it would from such a weak special attack. So, and we have Trick Room just in case you don't like the room you're in, or Wolfey sets it and you want to reset it. So I do think that's a good way to go. So that's Pokeaimmd's team. Let's do Wolfey's team. It's funny, I'm sitting here telling Wolfey what he should do, so I'm just kind of not... Wolfey, don't watch this. Just do your own thing. But hopefully, that'd be kind of cool if you use some of this stuff. So I started with the Trevenant. I thought that when I was building against Wolfey's team and I was finding how big of a problem Trevenant was, I was like, well, let's bring it. I feel like I would have caught it anyway. So you have the Woodhammer, the Trick Room, and the Haze. Obviously, if the stamina boosts get out of hand on the Archaludon, you can just haze them away. And the special attack, obviously, if they get the Electroshock boosts off with the Power Herb or the Rain boost or whatever it is, you just haze them away, and I do think that Trevenant can eat those pretty well. Maybe a little bit of special defense investment now that I think of it, but I have physical there for whatever reason. Frisk, I can see Wolfey just leading this straight up because Frisk is amazing, and imagine the information that he gets, what he's going to use it against you. So I do think that'd be really cool. Primarina was the second thing on the team. I actually don't see any fairy resists on the team. So whenever I see that, me as a Primarina drafter, and I love using Primarina, I've drafted it a few times now. Whenever you don't see a fairy resist, you go Terra, Fairy, Dazzling Gleam, and don't look back. It can't be stopped other than defensive Terras. So you just run other things like a ground Pokemon next to it. And then that way they tear at their own risk, but you just go for straight up Dazzling Gleams. I would run choice specs, but I want to be able to change my moves. So anywho, Hariyama, I do think that one of the easiest ways of setting Trick Room up is faking out, setting the Trick Room, and getting your Flame Orb after. So, and then just setting yourself up for your own Trick Room. I think that'd be awesome. So I put that on the team. And I got the, what's it called? The fighting stat for the close combat. Obviously, that would do really, really well into the Archaludon. You've got the Thunder Punch there for anything that resists it. So fighting, let me see. So we got the Greninja. You've got the, what am I looking at? Oh, sorry. Yeah, Greninja already hits it, but you'd rather use the Thunder Punch anyway. In the Rhyperior, you have close combat as well. So what's Thunder Punch there for? Hold on. Oh, 1, 2, 3, 4. Wow. Yeah, it's on there for a reason, everybody. It's been a long one so far. And then Knockoff is just such a great move too. Knockoff going into the Meowstic, just deleting it. The Sinistra knocking off the Eviolite could be great. The Basculegion would just go down. And then knocking off like a potential Assault Vest or something on the Rhyperior. Notice that I haven't mentioned the Alomomola. We're not going to see it. Simple as that. If we do, I can't wait to watch it in action, if that's what we're going to call it. Action. I'm going to talk a lot of trash about this thing all season until he drops it. But from what I actually heard, I don't have the new updated rosters, but I heard that Joey actually dropped or changed a bunch of his teams. So I'm really not sure what team to expect in week 1, but we'll have to see what comes out. But who would I give the edge to in this game? It's funny, somebody in the comments in the last video, they mentioned that I was like just like glazing Wolfey, and I was just like, no, you just drafted a really good team, and I play enough draft to know that when I see a lot of really nice pieces. But based on the nice pieces, I would give Wolf the advantage here just because I think that the rain mode is very good. I just think that Wolfey would be able to stop it, even if it's like Rage Powder on the Venonat and then set Trick Room, and now you just flipped everything on its head. So, and that just might be enough. And then the Hariyama, I think the Mamoswine looks fantastic, which actually I didn't even mention. I skipped it. And then, wow, oh my goodness, I have more team to go over. Oof, all right. Remember when I said it was a long one? Anyway, Mamoswine. Loaded dice. There's no Intimidate on the other side of the field, not like it matters because you do have the Oblivious ability. Immune to Intimidate and Taunt, not like we're being taunted for the most part. Rock Blast, Icicle Spear. So if you look at the ice hits, let me see, 1, 2, and then not to mention those are the most likely Focus Sash candidates or very likely Focus Sash candidates. And then we have the Rock Blast. Rock just hits so many things nicely except for the Hariyama. And then we have the High Horsepower for Stab, just hitting everything for neutral damage. We do have the Terra Grass here, just in case. Let me see. Just in case he goes for the Rage Powder on the Poltergeist. So it just makes it so if he thinks he's safe, he's definitely not. But we do have, apparently the Terra Grass will be shown, and they'll be able to see the Terras before the game. So maybe they won't fall for that. So Noivern, you got your Tailwind Setter just so you can match his. It is a faster Tailwind Setter. You got to watch out for the Basculegion with the double speed naturally, and the Greninja. But I do think that it's faster than Greninja by 1 point. So that's not too bad. But yeah, get the Tailwind up, always match it. If they have a slower Tailwind, you definitely want to be able to match it, just in case. Draco Meteor just hits everything so hard, and Taunt. Taunt is very good into a Meowstic, a Riolu, a Alomomola, I guess, and a Poltergeist. So Taunt I thought was really, really nice as the last one, and another Frisk user. So why not? Wolfey's going to find front row items and back. So very good ability. And then finishing off with the Glamora, I had the Focus Sash available, and you never know when you're going to run into that sneaky ground move. I know a lot of things get Stomping Tantrum, Bulldoze, things like that, High Horsepower, Earthquake. So having the focus sash on there is just a little bit of security just until before you find out some moves. And then we have the 2 stabs and the earth power just to hit everything we possibly can. So I managed to put as much offense as I could on Wolfey's team. So hopefully it pressures Joey enough, Pokeaimmd enough in this week. Sorry guys, that was I definitely forgot to do the rest of the team. So anywho, so we've got the 2 in this matchup. Who's going to win? So let's give an advantage to, I think Wolfey just has so much on this team. It's just going to be really hard to deal with. And we're probably even going to be wrong on what he's going to bring. I think he's going to bring things that we're not expecting, and Pokeaimmd's not going to be expecting either. And the other way around, I think that Pokeaimmd's just such a creative player as well. We could see a lot of really unique sets. So I've got my eye on this one. I'm going to watch every match because I think they all look amazing and all these players look so good and the teams just look so good. So watch along with me. I believe it's this weekend, so I think this one's going to come out on Friday. And then we'll have the matches on the weekend, and then following next week, I'll actually go over the matches, and then I'll do another one of these for week 2. So anyway, so where was I wrong? Let me know what you guys think are going to win each week. We have the 4 matches. I'll put them on the screen. We've also got the teams. What would you bring? What did I miss? What do you guys think? This is so subjective, everybody. So let's get a conversation going. Let's keep this going, and let's do this together. Let's enjoy the season together, because we don't get these fun like YouTuber draft leagues very often. So let's enjoy it while we got it. And thank you very, very much for watching, everybody. The support has just been amazing. The last video just did so well, and I just enjoyed every minute of responding to all the comments as well. So thank you very, very much. And if you're not subscribed, strap in, and I would sub, because we're going to be covering the whole season. It's going to be a blast. Peace.